boy, the one under the floor. The new Noah was a success. The procedure, whatever dark alchemy Claire had performed, had worked. The child was physically present, biologically theirs, but he was an echo, a facsimile, and the original, the template, the source code for the construct was still there, trapped, starving. Eli began to have seizures, not the convulsive, foaming at the mouth kind, but absent seizures. He would simply stop, his eyes would roll back, his body would go rigid, and for a few seconds he would be completely unresponsive. During these episodes, a low, subsonic hum would fill the apartment, the lights would dim, and a wave of intense, localized cold would sweep through the room. Doctors were baffled, scans showed a healthy brain, therapists diagnosed him with severe anxiety, but Robert knew. He had heard that hum before, in the basement, in the house on the hill. He had seen the look in his wife's eyes. The first time it happened, she had simply rocked him and whispered, "It's okay, my little Noah, mama's here." The second time, she had slapped him hard, screaming, "Stop it, you're not her, you are mine, you are Noah." The third time, she had locked herself in the bathroom, sobbing, and when he broke down the door, she was frantically trying to flush a handful of prescription pills down the toilet. Had left that night, he had packed a bag, taken the car keys, and driven. He didn't know where he was going, he just drove until the road turned to dirt and the towns became smaller and stranger. He found a job as a handyman in a remote logging community, working long hours for cash under a false name. He drank heavily, trying to drown the memory of the blue light, the open basement door, and the look of pure, triumphant malice on his wife's face as she had screamed, "I will not be denied." But you cannot outrun a ghost, especially not one that has become the house. The storm forced him off the highway. A massive oak tree, uprooted by the wind, had crashed across the road. He sat in his truck, the engine idling, the rain drumming a frantic rhythm on the roof, and he felt the old, familiar pull. A compulsion, a tether, it wasn't a voice. It was a memory, a trauma, a location burned into his psyche. The house on the hill. He found a payphone in a gas station diner, the kind that still used a rotary dial. His hands shook as he looked up the number for the county assessor's office. He lied, saying he was a long-lost relative checking on a property. The clerk, a bored woman with a thick southern drawl, gave him the information without question. "Yep, that old Victorian, sold just last month. Some young widow from the city bought it. Name's Clara something or other. They're fixing it up to be a B&B, real nice folks from what I hear." Robert slammed the receiver down. A B&B, a family, a new life built on the ashes of the old. He got back in his truck. The rain was easing, but the sky was a bruised purple. He drove. He didn't know what he would do when he got there. Confront his wife, warn the new owners, apologize to a ghost. He didn't know, he only knew he had to go. The house was calling, and it was hungry. Chapter 9, The Convergence. Clara was in the kitchen, attempting to soothe a fussy Leo, when the front door burst open. It was not a violent opening. It was a slow, deliberate creaking, as if the door itself was reluctant to admit the visitor. A gust of wind, smelling of ozone and wet earth, swept in, extinguishing the lamp on the table. Clara froze, holding her son. Ben, who had been building a fort out of sofa cushions in the living room, looked up, his eyes wide. "Mom, who is that?" The man stood silhouetted in the doorway. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with lines of exhaustion etched deep into his face. His hair was streaked with gray, and he was soaked to the skin. He looked like a shipwreck survivor. "Robert," Clara breathed, the name falling from her lips as if she had known him in another life. A jolt of recognition, deep and cellular, passed through her. It was the same feeling she got from the toy car, from the floorboards, from the very air she breathed. The man took a hesitant step forward, his eyes scanning the room, landing on her, then on the two boys. He saw the resemblance. He saw the dark, curly hair of his own son in Ben. He saw the solemn, watchful expression of his wife in Leo. "Clara," he asked, his voice a hoarse rasp. "How do you know my name?" she asked, her voice trembling. He didn't answer. His gaze drifted past her to the staircase leading to the upper